This is the lie we've all been told. Treat others how you want to be treated. I think everyone's heard this before. But what if I were to tell you that this is the wrong way to live? How could I possibly know that how I want to be treated is how someone else wants to be treated? This old adage assumes that everyone's the same, that everyone gets pleasure from the same thing. But the truth is, everyone's different. It's so obvious, and yet we all struggle with it, especially Ichigo. And when he set out on a quest with his friends to save Rukia from her pending execution, despite overwhelming odds, everyone was able to hold their own against the 13 Court Guard squads. They fought as equals, but in later battles as stronger foes appeared, somewhere along the way that changed. You see, Ichigo among his core human friends distinguished himself as undoubtedly the strongest. So he feels this need to protect everyone. And let's just say, all his friends didn't necessarily take kindly to this. Especially Chad. When they were younger, Ichigo and Chad made a promise to always have each other's backs. Chad understood that promise as a declaration to always fight as equals. For Chad, fighting beside Ichigo was a matter of pride and trust. But as Ichigo began taking more responsibility for everyone's safety, Chad felt like his strength in their bond was being ignored. And the larger that gap in their power became, the more Ichigo felt the need to protect his friends rather than fighting with them. Ichigo believes he's protecting his friends by keeping them out of danger, but in reality, he's undermining their own sense of worth and growth. He's treating them how he thinks they should be treated, not how they want to be treated. Objectively, Chad wasn't strong enough, and that's a fact. But for Chad, it wasn't about power, it was about being trusted as an equal. And Ichigo could never grasp that simply because he's blinded by the past. Ever since his mother passed away, he's haunted by the idea that he's not strong enough to protect those he loves. This fear becomes a driving force behind his need to shield his friends from danger. To Ichigo, protecting them is his way of atoning for the moments he wasn't strong enough. But what Ichigo doesn't realize is by doing so, he's taking away their ability to grow and prove themselves. Chad isn't someone who craves power for the sake of it, but in order to escape that feeling of being a liability, he trained against Renji's Bankai and became stronger. And even after all that training and proving to himself that he wasn't a liability, he then had to re-demonstrate his strength to re-earn Ichigo's trust on their way to Wako Mundo. And Ichigo's close friends weren't the only ones he struggled to understand. Urahara was a person who, despite wishing the best for Ichigo, had an interesting way of showing it. He continually put Ichigo in life-threatening situations, not because he was irresponsible or wished ill of him, but for no other reason than to make Ichigo stronger. Unlike Ichigo, Urahara understood that sometimes growth requires struggle. He didn't coddle Ichigo or shield him from danger. In fact, Urahara would sit idly by watching Ichigo face enemies that Urahara could easily defeat himself. It might seem cruel, but Urahara was teaching Ichigo a lesson, that true strength comes from facing challenges head on, not from being protected. Urahara treated Ichigo in a way that respected his desire to grow stronger. He gave Ichigo the tools, knowledge, and space to fight his own battles. Urahara didn't assume that Ichigo needed to be kept safe. Instead, he trusted Ichigo's potential to rise to the occasion. He knew that Ichigo wanted to be seen as capable and respected that. But Urahara shows Ichigo a different kind of respect, one that trusts in someone else's strength and decisions. He embodies the lesson that Ichigo struggles to learn with Chad, that true respect and understanding means treating people the way they want to be treated, not just how you would want to be treated in their position. By learning this, Ichigo could not only grow as a fighter, but also as a friend. And this idea isn't just limited to Ichigo, but it also applies to real life as well. Sometimes we think we know what's best for someone else. It's easy to project our own experiences and emotions onto others, especially when we're trying to help or protect them. We often think, if I were in their shoes, I'd want someone to do this for me. But that's where the problem lies. We're still thinking about ourselves, about how we would want to be treated, rather than truly understanding the other person. In life, every individual has their own struggles, perspectives, and way of handling challenges. What works for one person might not work for another. Some people need space to figure things out on their own, while others might need direct support or guidance. The mistake comes when we assume that everyone faces hardship in the same way we do, or that our solutions will automatically help them. Take friendships or relationships, for example. It's easy to believe that protecting someone from pain or shielding them from difficult truths is the kind thing to do. But sometimes, what they truly need is the freedom to face that pain themselves, to grow from their experiences. Offering help can be well-intentioned, but stepping in too much can rob someone of the chance to develop their own strength or make their own decisions. The key is empathy. Not just in feeling what another person feels, but in truly understanding that their perspectives, their needs, and their methods for coping are different from our own. True empathy means listening, learning, and respecting the way someone else chooses to navigate their journey. This is a lesson Ichigo struggled to learn with Chad, but it's also one we all face in our own lives. By learning to treat people how they want to be treated, not just how we think they should be treated, we can build stronger relationships, foster personal growth, and truly support those we care about in a meaningful way. We all have well-meaning intentions when we try to help or protect someone we care about, but just like Urahara knew with Ichigo, sometimes stepping back is the best way to help someone grow. Life is full of challenges, and while we can guide and support others, we can't fight their battles for them. Respecting their choices, their struggles, and their own journey is a real act of care. And in doing so, we allow them to become the best version of themselves, on their own terms.